cycle update. Slow rugging, jacking all your crypto. No one else in the whole wide world can save you, girl. You know, I don't really have time for bull and nonsense and chaos, and I'm going to address a couple of things. CryptoTalk.fm, my name is Leicester. I'm your host. I'm going to address a couple of things. First, a mark stopped by. I'm going to address the mark once and for all. I'm only going to do it one time. Then I'm going to address the blackout. I'm going to address the chaos. I'm going to address the furor, the absolute frustration, anger, disappointment, distaste in people's mouths about things Leicester told you was going to be the truth and had been the truth for many months, but the consensus distracted you away from the truth that was. And here we are. And I won't be able to tell you what it means. I'm just going to simply take a victory laps. First, the mark. It occurs to me that there are people that stop by that don't actually listen to the show. Because the people that listen to the show, they understand Leicester doesn't go to Telescam. I say that on pretty much every episode at this point. I don't. I do not have social media. I dropped X like a year and a half ago because what happened is after Elon took over, then they launched the premium, pay some money to get a blue check mark, which I'm not going to do. Then it didn't matter because people who had the blue check mark, when it's a cryptocurrency based X account, they get attacked. So then two things occur. Somebody's trying to crack the account, right? When that happens, X puts you through this verification thing. We got to fill out these puzzles, and they kept doing it. And I'm like, screw you, bro. I'm not doing this crap. Learn how to do multi-factor like every other modern. This is Elon. So I dumped the X account is the point. I let it be suspended. Don't care. And said, screw it. That's why I don't have X, because X is garbage. I have a Facebook. I don't actively go to it. It's for the brand. I don't actually go to it, but it's there in case somebody want to go, but I don't go there. I don't go to Discord. I have a Discord. I don't go there. There's a couple of reasons why I don't go to Discord that are not related to anybody there. The bottom line though, this person kept talking like, well, you should be, you could get more views. And if anybody that's listened to my damn show understands, because I've said it repeatedly, that I don't give a fuck about YouTube views. I don't care about going trending, or I don't give a fuck. YouTube is a cesspool. The thing's only there because the podcast replicates there. I actually happen to be one of the top podcasts talking about cryptocurrency because of consistency, not because of numbers. Numbers don't mean shit. The number of people listening actually doesn't mean shit. Do you know why it doesn't mean shit? Because you can pay for the crap. What matters is consistency. How many consistent episodes have you put out? What's the strength of your episodes, right? The strength of your topical matter, the consistency of the messaging. Repeat listeners, I would argue, is the strength metric. The strength metric is consistency, not raw numbers. Joe Rogan is consistent in his podcast. That's why he's the top dog. I'm not trying to be him. He has a video podcast. I am an audio podcast because I am one of the naturalists who believes that podcast is radio, thus it is audio. Because of that, I don't give a fuck about views. It doesn't matter. YouTube is lesser a platform. It simply is there as another medium. I'm on tons of platforms. Some I don't even recognize, but I'm still on them because of the way it's distributed. So for this person who keeps squawking about getting more views, I don't give a fuck about the number of views. I don't care. Okay. And this person had the nerve to encourage that I talk about the garbage known as BlockDAG more often. Why should I do that? There's two reasons I'm asking this question. Why should I do that? The moment I was doing regular coverage on BlockDAG, the consensus attacked me, and people in that consensus who refer to themselves as an army that rhymes attacked. And they told me they didn't want the coverage. So I stopped for a while. Then what happens? The leader of the consensus gets locked up allegedly because he can't hold his liquor. I don't know if that's true. That's what I saw, and that's what people said. The other person went AWOL. Since you want to talk army terms, that motherfucker went AWOL. Abandoned you. The person who, those two, told you that they had your back. because they were allied with an incompetent leader and you followed them because they had you fooled. Here's the irony, and this goes to my update here. Those people got used and abused like puppets on a string by the man. You know who the man is. I don't need to say his name. He used and abused those two brilliantly. In fact, I predicted that was going to happen months ago. I said, and I will quote myself, they are inside. They're on the inside. They are complicit. What I was saying by me saying they're on the inside, it's like the Pied Piper. They played the skin flutes and you followed them into the chaos we now have. Turner was incompetent. Turner didn't have the skill to stop what was going to happen. It was going to happen anyway. It just so happens that it went faster. Nick damn sure wasn't going to stop it because he was complicit because he went along with it for the longest time. So all that happened was steering. You were steering. You were hopeful. You were optimistic. Meanwhile, you attacked the 1/2 people who were trying to truly warn you off of it. And mind you, other people on YouTube might have been trying to warn you away from it, but some of those people on YouTube actually turned against me too, because I take a very conservative, centrist approach to my analysis, which is to simply say, at that time, I didn't see scam. I saw blistering, incompetent fools and idiots that don't know what the fuck they're doing with a project like this. That's what I said. Go to my audio and you can hear what I said. I don't care. I want you to hold me to what I said because I was firm in what I said. And there's a logic, which I'll get to as I close off. Blackout hits. People are so, I can't even give it a word. The fact that they're duped again, by something so blatantly obvious. I saw it a mile away. The moment I saw Blackout, I knew it has to be another marketing something. Why? Let's break down what I told somebody else who didn't get it, because there was an article on Gabbar, BDAG crashes 32%. And I told people this image, this tells you the story, because why would there be any articles talking about a price movement on a blackout instead of an article saying BlockDAG's resetting, instead of an article saying BlockDAG's getting back on track, instead of an article saying BlockDAG has a leadership shift? Think about how real businesses advertise what's going on. They talk about the event, not the price. These idiots, Gabbar, they put up a thing that's talking about the price, and other idiots actually followed it and they read it literally instead of implicitly. Literally, wait a minute, it didn't crash 32%. Of course it fucking didn't. Don't quit fixating on price. I don't get why. This is why you keep getting duped, because you keep focusing on price. When I told you countless times, it doesn't matter. When I told you your coins in the lock-a-doot doesn't matter. Do you understand now, given the so-called Keynote 6, which is an AI, Reginald Broccoli? Do you understand why I said your coins that locked in there don't matter and never did matter? Do you understand when I repeatedly try to warn you, ignore price? It doesn't fucking matter. This is what I keep saying to people, and they don't listen. They see this, and that's why it keeps happening. The marketing keeps happening because it works, because it dupes people who are not thinking behind price. They keep focusing on price. You know it didn't crash 30%. Use your fucking head. To quote Mary Wells, use your head. Use your damn head. If it didn't crash 32%, why would there be an article saying it did? Why would such an article only be on one site? Who is it that would have put the article up there? There's only one answer. You know who the answer is. Think about why they would do that. They would do that because they're trying to drum up some sort of attention to tell people, okay, there's a blackout. There's something going on. This is a bad thing, right? If it's trying to promote it as a bad thing, then why would they do it? Because it would then sell you on what they're doing later as a good thing to try to offset it. It's a psychological trick. The same thing that happened with the car salesman on Seifu. He did the same shit. If I was to step down as CEO, who would take my place? He did the same shit. This is why it's so predictable, because he's following this person is following the same script that Car Salesman 1, Car Salesman 2, Car Salesman 3, Russ the Cult Leader, Cliff Idiot on Shinja, every single one of them are following the exact same script, and yet people are still getting duped, and it's beyond me why it's so hard for people to use basic common sense when dealing with this shit. I don't get it. What happened? Some of you might not even know what the fuck's going on, right? You should listen to the keynote because it'll piss you off. Rightfully so. Because what happened is what was destined to happen. And I don't even know how this would work unless we accept what Leicester told you to be the truth, which is it's a Geth fork. If you accept what I'm saying, you need to come back and give me my credit because I said that countless times despite multiple people telling me it wasn't true. Well, explain to me, sir or madam, how is it possible BlockDAG is listing now a, quote, new BDAG that they're distributing? Remember, a blockchain can only have one gas coin. So how is it possible that what you have is the gas coin for BlockDAG, yet they're launching another coin for BlockDAG? I want you to explain it. One or two things must be true. They said on their write-up stuff that this new BDAG is going to be the gas coin for BDAG going forward. If that's true, how can what you have be the gas for BlockDAG? It can't, because you can only have the fucking one unless you migrate it. There can only be one at a time. They said you're going to keep both. They said you can be able to trade both. They said the, quote, legacy one will stay on the exchanges. How can that work unless you're dealing with a straight up token? If you're dealing with a straight up token, it must therefore be a Geth fork. Folks, for you motherfuckers who came at me saying it's not, do you understand how you sound? Because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, and this is why you get duped and taken, get your stuff took repeatedly by people like this. That's what happened. Now you have a whole new allegedly coin with another 150 billion in coin supply out of thin air nowhere. That's what you've got. It's possible they spun up another chain. I don't know because there's not enough data yet. That'd be the only other logical way that you have two coins, but then they wouldn't be able to interop on the same chain ID. Because remember, when you create that in your wallet, you have to tell them which is the one that is the gas. You can't have two. It doesn't work that way. If you're doing that, it's no different than minting coins above and beyond the max supply, which would kill sentiment, wouldn't it? This is the reality of why you need to listen to the right people instead of the wrong people. And because you listened to the wrong people for so damn long, it was already too late. It was already a dead in the water. I don't know what it means because they keep saying that the, quote, legacy BDAG is always going to be there. Then they said, well, the BDAG you have, you're going to get an equivalent. That's not true. It's partially true. It's partially not true because what they're talking about are coins that you have not claimed, coins that are locked up, coins that are not, they've not claimed, they've not hit your wallet, none of that. They then, on simply a transaction, so they basically wrote it on a ledger. This is referred to as cooking the books in accounting. On a ledger, they just wrote that you got an equivalent amount of coins as what you had still locked in there. And no, I'm not talking about the 50 billion from the fake after sales. I'm talking about the compressed amounts, whatever the compressed amount is. They gave you an equivalent. The thing is, they didn't really give you an equivalent because you didn't get it in your wallet. If you don't have it in your wallet, you don't really have it. It's nothing more than a transaction. They're creating artificial transactions to try to drum up interest. This then people say is a Ponzi scheme. It might very well do, because if you took that money to spin up this new project, and by the way, they're doing another pre-sale of 25 rounds, then it gets very dangerously close to a Ponzi scheme. Yes, that's true. Here's where I'm going to shock you. That rhymes. Here's where I'm going to throw you for a loop. Do I think this guy is intentionally trying to rip you off? No. I actually think this is a tacit, look it up, admission of failure. To me, this is, I'm throwing the fucking towel. I can't fix this shit. We oversold. It's in writing they oversold. Turner is on record saying they oversold. We know they oversold. It turns out the tap miner is what kicked them over the edge, which I said months ago, nearly a year ago, that the top miner was a bad idea and they shouldn't do it for this very reason, because it didn't make any damn sense. Because at scale, it was going to oversteep. It turns out, and somebody sent me some screens, which I'll quote some numbers from, and I appreciate them sending it. 1.8, a win rate. So what they're talking about is, okay, as you tap, and here's your rewards, and then they end up over. The tap miner is what kicked them over. So for those people that are like, what about my tap miner points and all the stuff that I might, this is why you haven't gotten anything, because they overkilled it. They went overboard. So then you're like, well, what about this excessive after sales and pre-sales and, live swaps and all these other things? Those are always points-based things. It's essentially, they're just giving you points and they do a compression, which is nothing more than fancy price trickery. They're showing you one price, but they're really selling you equivalent to a different price. That's all they're really doing. So the number is always lower. If you have some locked in there, then they allegedly gave you new BDAG in exchange. And this keynote 6 with AI Reginald Broccoli says you didn't lose anything. The truth is you might have lost, because if you bought from exchanges like you should have done, or the ones that you claimed, you are not getting new BDAG for those. That means the only people that this really even partially benefits is people who did not claim. Anybody who did not claim allegedly will get the new BDAG in addition to the legacy BDAG, but I don't see how that works. They claim the dashboard's up to date. It's not. It's still a buggy shit show. It doesn't show both sets. It only shows the one. So I can't tell you what that means. I can only tell you based on what I see. The only people that would allegedly benefit from this are people that did not claim and did not buy from the exchanges. If you bought from exchanges like you should have done, from what I can tell, you're on your own. That might not be a bad thing, but we need to understand the state of the damn thing. Is it a coin or is it a token? That has to happen, number one, because in your wallet, it is treated as a coin. Then we need to understand what the so-called, quote, new one is. If the new one comes out as a token, okay, well, whatever, then it can't really be the gas. So there's unanswered questions is my point. And because there are unanswered questions, it creates negative sentiment. So having another pre-sale, claiming there's going to be 100 million in liquidity pumped into the damn thing for what? You're not going to get the new one on exchanges, not when you're listing the legacy one, quote, which you said is not going to fall out. This, again, feels like a tacit admission of failure. They cannot fix the current one despite what they want to do. Despite what I think they should do, they don't want to do that either. So they can't really otherwise fix it. They oversold the damn thing. They don't have a way around it. They tried this buyback crap. We don't know what's going to happen there. They tried more sales to encourage more buyback. Didn't really work. Turbo, they only sold $56,000 worth of the shit. Like, this is, you got to understand, this is people that don't get, because think about it. If they were really trying to just take every last fucking dollar from you, right? Why would it make sense to have a fractional price? Why would it make sense to have a dirt nothing price? It wouldn't make any sense. They've not done any artificial pumps of the price since. They've not done anything to artificially pump the price. Why? You got to think, why would you want low fucking prices? It doesn't make sense, because even if you take the money, they're still giving stuff. They're just worthless coins. The price doesn't make sense for the strategy of straight up malicious. It doesn't make sense. If I was talking to somebody like a car salesman on Seifu who wanted something malicious, they're going to cause pumps. They're going to do everything they can to artificially pump that shit. Whatever it takes to get that price to artificially pump, they're going to do it. That's what Saitama did. And they were noted scammers. Here, he's not doing anything to trigger a pump. He thinks he is, but he knows. He's got to know. The stuff he's doing is 2021 all over again. There is no modern common sense to anything he's doing. That's what I'm saying to you. This is somebody who doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. That's what it is. You got somebody who does not know what the fuck they're doing. And they're throwing shit against the wall, hoping it sticks. And this latest is simply a tacit admission that they failed. They failed, and he's trying to do something, anything, out of desperation. And he's just throwing shit. He's not even thinking about sentiment. He can't be. If somebody was thinking about want to rip you off, right? You would want to gain their trust. You would want to gain their confidence. If you wanted to trap them, you would want to gain their confidence in doing so. Nothing of what he's doing is designed to gain confidence at all. Everything he's doing is designed to turn you off from buying. So why does it make sense to do another pre-sale of 25 fucking rounds after a 2-year project? Do you see what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense for a smart logical scammer. It does make sense for somebody that doesn't know what the fuck they're doing and doesn't care about the sentiment of it, doesn't even want to hear about the sentiment of it, doesn't have any sort of sympathy for the sentiment of any of what he's doing. He just thinks he's going to try shit and go and do shit. That's what he did his other businesses. That's what I see here. He's just trying shit and it doesn't make any fucking sense, which is why I said, if you're going to buy, which I'm not telling you to, I'm not telling you not to. I'm saying if you are, stop buying for the fucking site because that's in his control. That's in their control. If you buy from and as long as people keep doing it, which I think some of them have stopped. I think most of them have stopped, but as long as they keep doing it, that's what they're going to keep doing. You have to force the hand because he doesn't understand that rhymes. He doesn't understand the value of the exchanges. I don't know if the consensus really did blockade them from exchanges, and maybe this new is how he's trying to do an end run around that. I don't know if that's the case. I'm saying to you from my lens, I don't see malicious intent. I see somebody that doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, and he's trying whatever he thinks is going to do something, but none of it makes any sense. You launch a casino. You say there's millions of dollars coming for the casino, yet you can't inject any liquidity in this project over here. You say there's close to 100 million in liquidity bankrolled for buybacks, but yet you're out to September to October. You can't seem to do it sooner, but then all of a sudden you do some sort of coupon to get it done sooner. Then you do a blackout. You don't explain the stuff. You're delayed on getting the keynote 6. You say initially it's going to be you on the keynote 6. Then you do AI Reginald Broccoli. Then when the keynote 6 comes out, you basically tell people you're going to Ponzi them. How can I not refer to you as the Ponz? How can I not think of you as what you're doing is a Ponzi? Because the money that you would have collected had to have gone to support what you're doing now. That's a Ponzi by definition. I challenge you to look it up. So, in summary, I'm not telling you it's not a Ponzi because the moment that announcement was made, the moment that they said we are going to launch another something, knowing that they fronted off the backs of other money, that by definition is a Ponzi scheme. That's what it is. The way they're trying to get out of it is in the keynote. They said, you've lost nothing. You're getting equivalent. The flaw is you're not getting equivalent if you bought on exchanges. It's not a straight swap. It's not a straight one-to-one because anybody who had claimed already or bought on the exchanges isn't getting those. The only way they make it fair is they'd have to airdrop, look at the wallet. Here's how much you have in the wallet. We're going to airdrop you that same amount of the new to make you whole. It still doesn't matter because there's no value in the new at this point, and there's less value in the old because it's bottoming out. This is stuck in the middle. He's in a corner. He's trapped himself in a corner in his desperation to try to do something. That's what I see. And I don't see he's maliciously doing it. I see he's desperate, doesn't know what the fuck to do. He's at wit's end and he's trying, and I think it's the last pitch in my mind. He says 10 years. To me, I think a rebrand is the only thing else he could do. Because what else do you have left? You tried everything now and it's failed. There's no CEO from Cardano. There's none of the other stuff he said. All you've got is essentially a Ponzi scheme left. So, number one, so you can learn from this. Number one, okay? Many of you, not all of you, but many of you were duped. You were lied to. You were tricked because Turner was never going to save you, which I said. Turner was never going to save you. Nick damn sure wasn't going to save you. If Nick left on his own, I don't know that he did, but if he left on his own, you got to ask yourself the question, why would Nick leave after accepting the position? Is it possible that Nick was lied to about what was going to happen, and then he gets in there and realizes he's in over his head and doesn't know what the fuck he's doing either? But when you supported Turner, when you turned on everybody else, and you supported Turner, you fucked yourself, folks. Some of you fucked yourself because Turner was incompetent. He was feckless, look it up, and he allied with the consensus who didn't know what the fuck they were doing either. And that action, him, think about this, that action, him going rogue like an outlaw, caused an overreaction on this side over here. You got to consider, we might not be here had it not been for the consensus allying with Turner and causing him to go rogue, which I warned back in, I believe, November. I think this is bad. I think it's going to be now it's going to be an urgent something. They're going to just rush and cut and run, and nobody's going to be happy at the end on the backside. Here we are, folks. Learn, get better, do better. It was obvious to see what's happening. You can't do anything now if you're locked in. You can't do anything about it. If you have coins that you bought or that you claim that you're sitting on, you can't do anything about that either. There's not really much you can do about any of this stuff for one main reason, because they never put the damn thing on Uniswap. If they had put it on Uniswap, at least people could freely trade the legacy if they all wanted to. Then you would just have like a Luna Classic situation where the community can kind of control what happens to it. And then, hey, if you want to go and Ponzi off that new one, we don't give a fuck, but we're going to trade our shit over here. Can't do that either because they refuse to put it on Uniswap. We can't without a bridge because it's a coin, allegedly. The brilliance of the trap, the singularity of the trap. This is what you've got. This is where you're at. That rhymes. So I can't give you any directive. All I can say is do better. You trust the wrong people. You're listening to the wrong people. You're not watching the pattern of marketing, blatant, obvious pattern of marketing that got you here. That's what got you here. Okay. I have no idea what goes next. All I can see is I see a kid who doesn't know what to do. He does not know what to do. He's trying whatever without any regard for sentiment. He doesn't think sentiment. He doesn't care. If I didn't know better, I would swear he's doing something to try to force the we're launching 600 million to still be a thing. Like, I can't think of it because even let's say they, okay, we do the new and do whatever the fuck. Turbo failed. They didn't sell enough. So why would you think that a new BDAG is going to do any better than the fucking Turbo? That doesn't make any sense. Why would you launch a new BDAG with 150 billion when you can't even sell the old one? It doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense. None of it makes sense. That's my point. None of it makes any damn sense. Because you can tell by the Turbo numbers, they're not getting significant money. At what point do you realize this shit's not working? Maybe we need to stop doing it and let the fucking market work so that the price goes up and then we get the money we might want. Because remember, there's a team wallet that's 20%. If the price went up, you'd get your 600 million easy if you just let the fucking market work on its own and you put it on Uniswap. I guarantee you it's going to run. Just because it's essentially a meme coin and everybody loves a good meme, and putting memes about BlockDAG and its leadership is an easy business right now. But they're not even smart enough to take advantage of the fact that they're a meme. They're not even smart enough to do that. They're not even smart enough to say, fuck it, let's go all in on the meme shit. They got kicked off that, what is it, Zelf NFT. So you don't have that. You claimed you do. You don't have that. You don't have the exchange. You're not going to get licensed on that one. Allegedly, the AI is down. I didn't check because it's whatever. And it was hidden, buried. I like that Mark that came by and said it's not. It's gone. Casino's non-functional. Do you understand where I don't see malicious. I see incompetent. I see the dumbest set or single person or set of people I have ever experienced in crypto. And that's broad ground, given we had fucking Manny the rug puller. I don't know.